Hi everyone. So today we're going to do mixed media morsel number 14, and we're going to do some borders. I like to use magazine and catalog pages to do borders. I've shown this before on one of my other videos, but I wanted to give all of you a look at what I'm talking about. Like in catalogs, where you see really pretty stacked clothes or towels, things like that, you can use those and take advantage of all the color in them for borders. They really make cool looking borders. Here's one that was, this is a bunch of scarves together, and I just love how beautiful all the colors were. So I took a Sharpie and I just drew a scallop along the edge there, right? And then I just cut it out on the line. So that would make a really pretty border on a page. So this is the idea that I'm talking about. And like on this border, on this scallop, you can also cut a straight line across here, and you'll have another border with the inverted scallop going across here. So just look at images in magazines and catalogs and things in a little bit different way, and you'll be able to make use of them also for borders. Here's another one that's showing different fabrics, samples, and so that would, make a really cute border. Here's, just lots of really pretty colors. And I just love saving these because I know that I'm going to eventually use a lot of these in my art. I love this one. And here's the other side to that. Isn't that gorgeous? Whoops, let me get it in the frame, sorry. So that's so pretty. So, don't bypass this stuff because you can find a lot of cool things. Sometimes it's just a small amount of color, like along the edge. See, this is really small area here of color. Some more pretty colors. And not only for borders, you can take something like this and punch shapes out of it and have some awesome looking shapes. You know how we talked about when we cut down our painted papers and jelly prints, how they look really cool in a small, a small scale. If you punch something out of that, that'd be gorgeous. So just keep your eye open for stuff like this and make good use of them. There's plenty of those, lots of things. This was sheets. And look at this. This is just really, really cool because the way these are stacked, a certain thickness, that would make a gorgeous scalloped border. You just draw right along the the different individual sections, and it just makes, it would make a gorgeous border. So there's that, and then these are mostly from catalogs, and then like this was in a magazine. That's gorgeous, and you could definitely make borders and all out of something that's big and colorful like that. Here's one from a magazine. I'm sorry, a catalog, and you see how I just draw the shape or the design right onto the magazine page, and then I cut it out. So I did that here on this side, and then I cut it out, okay? So that's what it looks like, and then I just doodled on it. I drew V's and U's, okay? And that's a pretty simple process, and it makes a cute little border to go on an art journal page. I'll show you a little example. I actually used one of these long strips like that from the edge of a magazine page, and I put it on this page in my composition book of unwasted paint. Okay, so I cut it in half, and I used a piece here and a piece here. Then I just took the white Posca pen and scribbled a couple of times around the edge just to make it pop. And all of this color wasn't on this page. There was just a little bit of color on this page. And then when I added the borders, I picked out some of the colors that were actually in the border, and I added them to the page. So you can do that in, reverse order. You don't have to have a border that goes with your page. you could actually put a border on and make a page that goes with your border. Which is kind of what I did here. I mean, this is just a play page, but still, it's kind of cool, you know? And I love these uneven, messy, imperfect little borders. They're just so much fun, and they add so much to your pages. So that's what we're going to do today. Of course, I'll be doing it on a really small scale because my page is so tiny. First of all, let me show those of you who aren't on the Facebook, in the Facebook group, this is what my page ended up looking like when I got it all finished. The people on the Facebook group, I posted it there, so they have seen it. But for those of you who aren't, this is what it looks like. And I really like it, and I was really happy with the way it turned out. You notice that I've got holes punched in my paper. Well, maybe you can't tell in this. You can see it over here. I've got holes punched because I'm getting ready to pretty soon put my little binder together with the rings, the Tim Holtz ring binder mechanism in there. So I went ahead and punched holes in all of my pages and got them ready to go so that when I do get my binder finished, I can just put them inside. So that's why there's holes there. Okay, now before we do borders, we're going to need to create a page. So that just means creating a background, and you can create any kind of background you want. You can do one of the ones we've previously done, the plastic wrap or the alcohol. I mean, any of those. You can do any of those. I'm just going to take some paint and create a background for this page, and then I'm going to put a stamp on it, a sentiment type stamp, and then I'm going to use this piece. All of these pictures that I had shown you just a minute ago from my catalogs, they're all kind of fall and wintry. A lot of them are fall and wintry colors. So I went and found one that came out for spring. And so it had some really pretty spring colors, and it's on a small scale. The little stacks are on a small scale. So I thought that would be perfect on this little page to be able to use some of that. So that's what I'll be using for my borders for this page. But to start with, I'm going to put some paint down. So I picked some springy type colors, blue, pink, and yellow. And I'm just going to put a little bit here on my craft mat and just, paint in a little bit of color onto this page. My brush got kind of wonky. I think it was sitting in the water too long and it sat crooked, so it's got some little hairs going out in the wrong direction. What you call a little alfalfa hairdo. Won't matter on this because it's just going to be a messy background, but I think it's kind of funny. Okay. I got a little bit of Mod Podge on this side of the page when I was working on this side, so it's kind of resisting that a little bit there. So we got a little color on there. And now I want to use some white or some gesso. And I think I'll get a a stencil or some bubble wrap or something. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm going to use this little piece of plastic mesh and some white gesso with a makeup sponge, and just kind of go over the, I think I'm going to go over the whole surface. Just, we'll tone it down a little, and yeah, there will still be some showing through. And I'm not being real specific about covering every inch, but just here and there, kind of random. Okay. There we go. So it just kind of helps to tone it down. And I think that looks pretty good. So now I need to make my borders. So I'm just going to use a Sharpie. I think I'm going to just do a scallop. And I don't know exactly how much or which portions of this I'll use, so I'm just going to do a couple, maybe one on each side. All right, so I'm going to cut this out and be right back. Okay, so I got it cut out, and I actually trimmed off those original ones I made. They were a little bit too small. They just didn't look right. I laid it against the page, it just didn't look quite right. So I went back and drew them out a little bit bigger. They're not a lot bigger, but a little bit bigger, and trimmed those out. And so now I just need to decide what I want to put where. I don't think I want these white sections. They just don't really add anything because of the white that's already on the page. I just think I want the deeper colors around the edge, so I've got to decide where I'll put those. I'm going to just trim them, cut them apart, and I'm going to cut that that white section out. I might cut more off of this in a minute, but for now I'm just going to cut away that little piece. Okay. So we could do, I'm thinking I'll just do little pieces and not a whole border piece. We'll see. I don't know yet. That's cute. So we'll just use a little, let's see, before I do that, maybe I'll go ahead and stamp my my sentiment. It's a little stamp that says smile, today is a new and beautiful day. And then I'll put that just right in the middle there. Okay, so I think I'll stamp that before I do the borders. I'm going to keep them in place here and just slide them off. Oops. Okay. I may want to put a little bit more on the background too before I glue those down. Let's see. Okay, I have a little tiny cluster of stars. Looks like. so I'm going to stamp this then on a piece of cardstock. I have some right here. Whoops. Go. And then I will go and die cut that to put right on the middle of my page. Okay. I'm going to touch up these little dots that didn't quite stamp all the way. Just going to touch those up like that. Okay, so my die cut that I wanted to use didn't quite fit the stamp, so I just cut it into a square and I rounded off the corners. So it will sit on here like this. And I think that's kind of cool. All right, so now we're gonna glue down the borders, and I'm gonna use Mod Podge for that. I'm gonna just put a little ink around the edge of the sentiment or the words, whatever we want to call this. And I want to do the outside of the page also. First I need to trim this little bit of the border that's hanging over the edge. Okay, we'll just try that now. And I also want to add a little bit of white to brighten up the border just a little bit. So, I'll just make a little outline inside the each scallop. I don't know, maybe I'll do dots. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, so there we go. So now it's your turn to make a page with your own homemade borders. And you can use your painted papers. You don't have to use magazine images, but I like to use them because the colors are so vibrant and beautiful. So yeah, make some little page borders in any style that you want. It doesn't even have to be the scallops. It can be any style you want, and let's see what yours look like. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you again soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.